Hey guys, okay, this is my version of the assignment. I'm completing the same assignment I'm asking you to do here, and to kind of model for you what I'd like you to do. This is a get to know you kind of thing. I want you to sort of know me a little bit and what I'm about, and I want to get to know you as well. It kind of replaces, what we might have spent doing that in class. And you can see here, I'm not being real fancy with it. I'm even kind of trying to angle and fix things as I go, and I want you to feel the same way. I don't want you to feel like you got to redo anything. It can be what it is. It's just me gonna see it. All right. So the first thing I question is for you to tell me a little bit about yourself, and I want that to be professional and as personal as you choose to do. So my name is Patrick Chappell. I am been in Homewood for 22, 23 years. I'm the director of instructional support. Homewood's a small system, so that means I do most of the curriculum instruction, staff development, but I'm also federal programs, textbooks. I work with our community foundation. I always work on things like I always chair our monitoring and accreditation and all that stuff, and kind of just whatever the superintendent says, because there's not but two or three of us district administrators up here, so I wear lots of hats, and as I'm sure some of you probably do in your district. Um, I was a history English teacher both at the middle school and high school level, and I was an assistant principal for instruction at our high school. I've got a long affiliation with Sanford. I've got um, my administrative certificate and my EDS and doctorate all came from Sanford. And over the last decade or so, I've been an adjunct there quite often. I've taught in the fifth year program at Sanford, fifth year secondary program. I did that for a little bit. And I've also taught off and on in the doctoral program. I believe I taught, those of you that are Muscle Shoals folks, I think I taught Dr. Lindsay and a few of your other current administrators several years back at a cohort I worked with up that way. I've also am a frequent participant on committees. I enjoy doing that work. I like the kind of being the helpful nature. I tend to think of myself as kind of a practical person, and that's kind of my role as an administrator, and that's kind of how I feel like my role is working at Sanford. I enjoy doing it, and so that's why I do it. Personally, I'm married to my wife Sharon. I'll show you a picture real quick. That is she, and there are we. I'm gonna turn this back around. We've been married 24 years this summer, so it is just the two of us. We do not have any children. We have a couple of cats, and she's an insurance broker, so we are both hard working people. It's 5:40 now, and I'm doing this video. I'm gonna do a couple other things at work. She's just now about to leave work, gonna run by the store. So we tend to be folks who eat about 7:30, and that's our usual pattern. But we're work hard, play hard people. So we may work hard during the week and all of that, and do extra things. But we love to travel. Um, we this Christmas we were gone 17 days to Europe and visited some friends who are missionaries over there, and did one of those Viking River cruises and spent time in Munich and all that. So we're apt to go off and run off and do that. In fact, you'll notice you got a couple times off there during spring break. I gave you Sanford spring break and what is my spring break, and I hope it's your school spring break too, off, because we're going to Chicago. We've got doing a road trip with our parents, and we're going to see Hamilton in Chicago. So I like to do that kind of thing. I'm a big reader. I read like fiction and nonfiction. I love biographies and history and presidential kinds of things. Good mysteries and good fiction books. And I host a men's book club once a month where we read books and do that kind of thing. I'm a big movie buff. I love to watch movies. I've seen most of the films that are up for Academy Awards. We binge watch TV shows. We're kind of into doing that. So and we're very active in our church. We go to Baptist Church of the Covenant in Southside of Birmingham, and we both serve in a number of ways with that. So that's me personally. Number two, I wanted you to give some strengths and weaknesses about yourself. And this is an effort just to help us learn each other and work together, and know what you feel confident in, and kind of some areas maybe you don't feel as confident. This is just for me. I'm not going to be showing this to everybody. It's going to be this. You're going to upload this like an assignment, so it comes to me. So it's just for whatever you feel like you wish to tell me. So let me tell you a little bit about me. Kind of model that. Strengths. I think I am sort of balanced person, and by that I'm not necessarily claiming to be balanced mentally. What I mean by that is I feel like I'm sort of well-rounded in that I'm fairly well organized and detail oriented, and I'm fairly well big picture global. I can kind of walk in both worlds of that. So as an instructor, I hope you'll kind of see that in how I work and do things. It was important for me to give you some details up front. It was important for y'all to have the big picture of how the course, what the big expectations of the course are about, and kind of what each week will look like, even though the details I don't all have just yet. On the weakness end of that, I think that because I'm sort of balanced on those fronts, I'm not just the best at either one of them. Some people who are very detail oriented, very organized, I'm not that, and I'm not the biggest global thinker that ever lived. So I kind of walk in both worlds, but I'm not the best at either one of them. So I kind of sometimes I know my limitations, I guess is a one way to say it, on both fronts. I think I'm a personable kind of person. I'm a big talker, as you can tell. Talk to myself here on the video. And I think I'm a good listener and a good processor on those kind of things. I think from an academic standpoint, for your knowledge, qualitative writing is a strength. I was an English teacher, so the whole writing components in general that go with any kind of scholarly writing and the citations and all that, I'm pretty good with that. I'm not as good on quantitative. Now, I can hold my own on a committee and all of that, but I'm not going to be your go-to person for how to run a SNOVA, whatever those things are. I understand them in a broad sense, but not enough to really be helpful for you on that. I am, let's see, I think I'm very understanding and compassionate. Maybe I'm not always patient, patient with myself, more than, I guess if I'm not patient with others, it's because I'm not always patient with myself. And that's something I'm aware of and I try to gauge. All right, so those are my strengths and weaknesses. The third question is, what questions do you have? And that's basically it's just anything that you kind of want me to know, questions that you might have about research process or things moving forward. And I'm trying to think how I can model that for you. You may have questions about the course, you may have questions about the content. Like you would say, I'm anxious about APA. I'm anxious, I don't have any experience with that, or whatever. Think of this question as anything you might say that might help me adjust some of the lessons I'm planning or content I'm having for a weakness that you may have. For example, a question I have for you here, and I thought I wanted to model, is have y'all had a tutorial in the library? That was something that I had wanted to do on the first day of class, and that Sanford didn't really set that up for like I thought they would. So if y'all have had that, great. If you've not, we need to kind of work that in somehow in a webinar as a part of class or something. All right, and then the last question is, what else do you need to know? And by that just means if there's something else that you think I need to know that would help me be a better instructor, mentor, worker with you, you just need to know it. You just need to let me know it. Maybe that's something about your schedule, or maybe that's something personal that you didn't mention otherwise, or maybe it's just something that I didn't ask that you kind of wanted to communicate that you would have told me if we had met face to face. So just anything that you think of there. All right. So that's it. So that's all I want you to do, and you can see how informal it is. It's this isn't the most polished video I've ever seen, and I certainly don't expect that of you. The goal of this is just to help me get to know you a little bit and kind of what you're about. So thank you. Just do it sometime before February 5th. Bye.